We're going to call this meeting to order. Everyone could please stand for a moment of silent meditation or prayer and pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I know, reminds you, huh?
Okay, 1A, Mayor Joseph DiGirolamo will make a presentation of the Mayor's Scholarship Foundation. Mr. Mayor.
She has one.
Thank
you, Mr. President.
Do you want us to send a helper up with you?
Sure.
Since Debbie's not here?
I could always use a helper. Absolutely.
There she is.
Couldn't have done it without it. She had some checks.
Deb.
Thank you, Debbie. This is the 14th year I've been doing this, the Mayor's Foundation. Normally don't come up in front of council and doing this, but this year we decided to do it. We give away $14,000, my foundation, every year for the youngsters here in Bensalem if they live here and go to any high school. So I'd like to start out and make sure I have it right. Cecilia Barreca. Is Cecilia here?
Gotcha.
Huh? She's not in attendance. Oh, she's not in attendance. Well, Cecilia gets $2,000, so we'll make sure she gets that. The next one we have here is Kady Dennis.
Mayor, she's Bensalem High School.
No, yes, Kady's Bensalem High School. Congratulations to you, Kady. God bless you. Did a good job with me, too. Good job. How they do that is they become eligible, they write essays, and I actually don't pick the winners. It's done by a committee. I'm never involved on that end of it. It's two people from the community. It's one person from my family, and my church, whoever is the pastor at St. Ephraim's, and the school superintendent, Sam Lee. So right now they're the 5 people to pick the winners. So if you didn't win, don't blame me. If you did, thank the committee. All right, the next we have Jonathan Everly. Jonathan. Congratulations. They're all 2,000, by the way. There's 7 of them. Yes. If you want to, right at the very end, is that okay? Okay. Next, we have Michaela Graf. Michaela. Understand you're a Bambi?
Yes, I am.
At 2000, St. Hubert's High School. My wife went to St. Hubert. 1954, a lot of years ago. Oh, I hope she don't hear that. I hope my wife don't hear what I just said. But congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Great job. Another was Amber Linder. She couldn't be here. She's away. She's away. We'll make sure she gets it. The next one is Jolie Nasera. Jolie? Congratulations. Great job. Let's see where you're headed. Conwell-Egan High School, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
God bless you, dear. Now, I hope I get this name right, okay? I know DiGirolamo's tough too, so we'll try to make it. Amy Szwajkowski? Was I close? Szwajkowski? Say it? Szwajkowski? It's that simple? I'm putting too many letters in. Congratulations to you. Great job. God bless you. Congratulations. Thank you, everybody. Moms and dads.
Hey, Mayor.
If you have kids next year, please, when it goes out, make an application for it because we do this every year. So we appreciate all the parents and everybody being in. To kids, congratulations. I know they're off next year to college, and I hope it helps a little bit. 2,000 doesn't go far today at college, but I hope it helps. God bless everybody. Thank you.
Mayor, we're going to bring up all the winners so they can get their picture taken with you or
Okay.
whatever their family want to take pictures.
Now?
Any of the winners, if you want to come up now, we'll get some pictures.
Pass that down to Debbie, please.
They want to wait till the end of the meeting.
Joe, push that table back so you can stand in front of the table. There you go. It's like the DL programs too. 10 girls win awards and one guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's where 10 girls. Don't girls win this one, this one. Oh, there's a guy win one. Ooh.
Okay, 1B, we have Mr. Tom Vasek, President of Bensalem Lions Club, to make a presentation of Lions Scholarship Awards. Tom? Ed, two guys are going to go up because you're members. I'll call you up.
Oh, that's right. Two of the kids are one line, one theirs. Yeah, I saw it.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening. It gives me great pleasure as the president of the Bensalem Township Lions Club for 3 more weeks, and then Alice is going in as president, to be able to award these scholarships tonight at the council meeting. And Joe, I appreciate your help in facilitating this. In years past, we've done this for almost 30 years. It's always been at the high school, and it was almost like it was part of the high school, and nobody else in the community, if you didn't go to the high school, you weren't eligible. There's a new committee this year. The committee kind of thought outside of the box and said, look, we're a community service organization. Anybody that lives in the community should be eligible. I agreed. So I said, go for it. So that's why we're here tonight, because we have students from schools other than Bensalem High School, in addition to Bensalem High School. First, I would like to call up the committee because they're the ones that deserve the credit. We have on the committee, Irene Pers is the chairperson. She just underwent back surgery, so I'm actually here in her place. So I'm kind of here by proxy, but I like it. So we also have Dr. Umar Farouk, Ben Masad, Steve Pers, and myself on the committee. Also giving out scholarships are Alice, if you guys want to go up front with your scholarships. Steve. Ken Buckaloo, Bruce Tomlinson. And reading some of these scholarship applications, it's just amazing, the stories. one of the mottos of the Lions is where there's a need, there's a lion. And I think they really, really lived up to that this year with who they picked. I'll read some information on them as I call them in. Jonathan Everly, who, as well as being disabled, had a grade point average of 3.962. Gavin Hinshaw, grade point average of 3.8. Delina, grade point average of 4.5. Huh? Okay. Ezzy, she told me her nickname. It's a lot easier. Ezzy has a 4.36 grade point average. And I don't know if Karina Patel, okay. Karina has a 4.02 grade point average. In addition, they've done community service, they've done things for the community. That's the criteria we go by when we look at the applications. And the committee did a fabulous job, and I have to give you a round of applause because it wasn't an easy task. And I'm proud of the accomplishment, and I think that you guys will continue to do this. Any resident of Bensalem, if they're a senior in high school and they're accepted into college, are eligible to receive a scholarship from the Lions Club. We give out between 4 and 6, depending on our club funds. The better we do in fundraising, the more scholarships we can give out. So I just want to thank everybody. If people want to come up and have their picture taken. Allie, I'm sorry. And I told you, you had the easiest name, right? You can stay here, Allie. If the others want to come up and get their picture taken. Can you scrunch in? Can you get him, John? Yeah, that's, well, don't send it to who you didn't get. John, maybe if you stand in the middle. Did you get one, Sonny? Good man. I would just like to take a moment to read a thank you. We got a thank you today from Gavin Hinshaw, and it says, "Dear Bensalem Lions Club, it is a huge honor to award this scholarship of $1,000. The extent that this will go towards supporting my pursuit of higher education is absolutely immeasurable. I will be attending Penn State's summer LEAP program and will begin on June 24th. This money will no doubt be used to purchase school supplies and textbooks. I look forward to the challenges of higher education, knowing that the Bensalem community is supporting me. Again, thank you for your generosity. Sincerely, Gavin Hinshaw." Gavin, that's the reason why we do it. And we had an issue come up about funding for the 6th. And I'm not going to read the entire email, but there's an email. Well, here's an email from Jonathan. "Thank you for the honor. I'll be glad to receive the reward of $1,000 from the Bensalem Lions Club. It's quite funny because today is my 19th birthday. Jonathan Everly." Glad we made your birthday happy one. And then I received an email from Dr. Farouk, who had said that if it was going to be an issue with the money, he would pay for one or two of the scholarships by himself. And that's just how passionate we are about the scholarships, that somebody's willing to take it out of their own pocket to pay for the scholarships. I can't applaud these guys enough. Great job. Thank you.
You guys and girls can be excused if you want to leave now. It's the time to go. Everybody else is leaving. So you don't get stuck at a council meeting. It's up to you. This is not a police scholarship, you know.
You did a great job, too. That's what I hear.
Let me make it out of Kim. How you doing over there?
Is there any agenda items that are off this evening?
A few, sir. Taking them in the order they appear on the agenda. Item number 4, which is the ordinance for the Street Road Corridor Town Center overlay. That ordinance has been advertised and had been tabled to a date certain of this evening. In your packets, there was an email from Lauren Gallagher of my office advising that the Director of Building and Planning had asked that the matter be tabled to the council's second meeting in August.
Okay, do we have a motion to table?
We'll put that in form of motion August 27th to be tabled.
I'll second it.
We have a motion, a second. Any question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it 5-0. Mr. Pizzo?
Yes, item 5 on this evening's agenda, which is the rezoning of tax parcels 2-60-15 and 2-30-115, which are the Catherine Drexel property. The individual representing the company that is marketing the property for the Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament had asked that the rezoning, which has been properly advertised and previously tabled to this evening's meeting, be once again tabled to council's meeting of July 9, 2018, as the potential purchaser for the property continues with his due diligence.
Thank you. Do we have a motion on the floor?
I'll make the motion that we table number 5 to date certain of July 9th.
Do we have a second on the motion?
I'll second.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it 5-0. Mr. Pizzo?
Yes, the next item would be item number 8 on this evening's agenda, which is the potential rezoning of tax parcel 2-37-29 on the application of Republic Bank. That had also been previously advertised and tabled to a date certain of this evening. Last week after your packets went out, I was contacted for the attorney representing Republic Bank and received a letter from him asking that council table your consideration of the rezoning hearing to your meeting of July 9, and granting the township a waiver of any times applicable under the MPC.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion on the floor?
Make a motion that we move consideration of the rezoning for Republic Bank to the meeting of July 9th, 2018.
Do we have a second on the motion?
I'll second it.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it, 5-0.
Next would be item 10 on this evening's agenda, which is a lot line change for Carl Schneider for properties at 968 and 962 Bristol Pike. Earlier today, I received correspondence from the attorney representing the applicant requesting that, or advising that he's awaiting revised plans in accordance with the recently approved variances granted by the zoning hearing board, and has therefore asked for the matter to be tabled to a date certain of July 9, 2018, and granting the township an extension of time of all applicable time limitations under the municipality's planning code.
Okay, do we have a motion on the floor?
I'll make the motion that we table item number 10, tax parcel 229-112 and 229-113 to a date certain of July 9th.
Do we have a second on the motion?
I'll second it, I'll third it.
Any question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it, 5-0.
Those are, I believe, all of the changes to this evening's agenda of which I'm aware.
That's it?
That is it.
Jeez. Might as well get the others. How about agenda item number 12?
As you wish.
Number 12, let's do that one.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pizzo. Number 2 on the agenda, public comment on any agenda items. Does anybody have any comment on any agenda items? Seeing no one come forward. Number 3 on the agenda, approval of council minutes for the meeting, May 14th, 2018. Do we have any additions or corrections? If not, a motion will be in order.
I'll put a motion on the floor. We accept the agenda. Item number 3, the minutes as proposed, as presented. That was for the date of May the 14th, 2018.
Do we have a second on the motion?
I'll second it.
Any question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it, 5-0. Number 6 on the agenda, consideration and public hearing on an ordinance amending the township's zoning ordinances of December 6, 1954 as amended, Chapter 232-31 of the Township Code to amend Article 2, Section 232-3 to amend the zoning map and the zoning classification for tax map parcel 02-36-238. Chairman Popley, on behalf of Knights Road Real Estate LLC, from BP Business Professional District to GC Commercial District, to repeal all inconsistent ordinances and to establish an effective date therefore. Is anyone here for this? They go to the solicitor down here. The solicitor. Floor is yours.
Yes, my name is Chaman Popley. Actually, I'm here for that 2752 Knights Road. Business profession to change to general commercials. That's why I'm here.
Yes.
Yes, my name is Chaman Popley, and I'm here today. I have a building on Knight Road, 2752, and business profession to change to general commercials. And I'd like to open a mini mart there.
Is this the same property you came in to try and rezone a few months back, and now you're trying to rezone it again after you were turned down for the
Yes.
rezoning?
That's true.
Is there anything changed? I mean, or
It changed. Before I planned to have like smoke shop, then I say I changed my mind. I'm going to mini mart there now.
but once you
once you get the zoning change, you could just make it a smoke shop, couldn't you?
No. No, why? Bensalem doesn't want more smoke shop in the, that's the reason.
I know, but, hey, Ron? Yes. Is there any difference in the zoning between a smoke shop and a mini mart? No, they're both general commercial. So once we give him general commercial, we can't stop what he sells, right?
One of the reasons we turned it down is because there's not enough parking in there for what you're trying to do, is one of the reasons I believe you were turned down. So what has changed that you would have the parking all of a sudden to do a mini mart, which would be even more than just having cigarettes and soda?
No, it's the way I'm doing business so far is according to the building size was, it's, I have more than enough parking, like according, like building is like 1,000 square feet needs like 4 or 5 parking. And I have like 15 parking so far. It's more than enough.
But what you're looking to do is putting a mini mart in there can bring a lot more cars than that.
No, it's a mini mart is like a convenience, not like big mart there, like coming like 30, 40.
Did you say you have 50 parking spots?
15.
Oh, 15.
15.
15, okay. I thought you said 50, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, you made a change on the plan if you got 50, but.
Does Mr. Pizzo, do you have any questions or anything, where the notice is in order?
The notices themselves appear to be in order, the proofs of mailing and a copy of the letter. I wasn't provided with a copy of the list of the addresses to whom the notices were mailed, but I can get that from building and planning, so that's fine.
Does anyone on the board have any questions for Mr. Popley?
I do. As you understand, that property is in a unique area, even though it has traffic going through on Knights Road, is a nice wide highway. It's a high accident area, number one. Number two, you're changing from a business professional, and that was zoned business professional from residential, because we're looking to have something that would be friendly to the neighborhood as far as traffic. And a mini mart or anything that would be general commercial would not be in staying with what I would think the theme of what we're trying to do in Bensalem is trying to be safe to our residents and traffic control and things like that. Anything, as a business professional, more than likely it's going to be it could be a doctor or a dentist or a psychologist, or which we all could use, and such. But when you go to general commercial, regardless of what your intention is, someone after you could come in here and put a high traffic business, and there's nothing we could do to stop it. So I think the fact that you're looking to make that general commercial is not the right zoning or something that I would like to see in that particular spot. It's very small. You know, and you're saying you have 15 parking spots on that?
15. That's a very small store. Well, that's the thing. It's not a big store, a very small store like mini mart. Nobody comes there. Traffic-wise, is not big, like 10,000 square feet. Then we can count so much traffic. It's like 1,000 square feet, a very minimum, very low traffic. And I like to put on the sale this building like almost a year. I'm not get any find the buyer, and that's the reason I come back. I said, let's go back to I open the business there in general commercial. I don't experience to I can professional open that. I also put on rent their building to nobody find the tenant also.
Isn't there a professional across the street? Isn't there a professional right next door?
Yeah, I was right-hand side of general commercial, left-hand side general commercial, and I don't know why it was an issue for the township. Why they give me that as general commercial for that?
Who has a commercial we gave
Yeah,
to?
general commercial pharmacy there, left-hand side.
Who?
Pharmacy.
Bensalem Pharmacy?
What's the size of his lot?
Let's say less than my size, that's very small size, very small.
It has a gas station on the corner, right?
Yeah, the gas and
And then
corner.
there's a mini mart around the corner.
Yes,
Dumpster.
that's true.
There's already a mini mart.
Then,
So to argue that your mini mart's so small you won't have customers, well, you won't make any money either, will you? I mean, how can you say that you're not gonna have customers?
no,
How you gonna
we
make-
have that customer, very small.
No, but if you sell mini mart stuff like bread and milk and stuff like that, you have to sell a lot of it or you don't make money, right?
We can try
So
now.
Wawa or 7-Eleven, they turn over product. That's how they make money. So if you're arguing, well, we're not gonna have that many customers because we're gonna be a small store,
Then how are you gonna make money?
No, we're expecting to have a walk-in customer from the apartment behind. My name is Maulik Shah.
What is it?
Maulik Shah, MAULIKSHAH. We're expecting to have a walk-in customer from the apartment behind.
Yeah, and you will.
So
get
they
some-
don't, if they don't want to
But you
walk too
also
far.
can get walking customers from the other apartments at Creekside who have to cross the road now. You also can get customers from Bucks Meadow who have to cross Knightson Street Road to get there, you know, so you're gonna create pedestrian traffic in an area that's already pretty dangerous, in my opinion.
But no cross anything. nothing
No, there
cross,
is, I mean,
no cross anything.
for the creek side, there is a mini mart, just like you mentioned. They can go over there, they don't have to come this far. And the reason we don't want to do is,
You aren't gonna go to it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it doesn't make sense. If you say not that many people are gonna go.
I mean, it's better to have it something open than, have a vacant building. Plus, we don't have experience for a business professional that we can do something our own.
Okay, well, no one made you buy the building. You know, so you should have thought about that. You should have thought building is correct. So, and what prevents you from we give you zoning for this, and then you sell it to a cigarette store, and they sell cigarettes?
You can put it on deed restriction. I want to sell that. I want to keep that until I can run that. I can handle that mini mart. If I sell it, then I put a deed restriction. I'm not going to put a smoke shop there.
It's pretty tough to.
Do we have any other questions from the board?
Mr. President, could I clear something up?
Yes, sir.
They were talking about surrounding properties, and he mentioned the pharmacy. The abutting properties to this site on left and right are business professional, uses a doctor's office, and the other one's an insurance agent, both perfect business professional.
No, right next to the insurance is a pharmacy.
Well, I'm talking about next to you.
Next to me, the one side is insurance, one side doctor.
All right, insurance and doctor.
Insurance, yeah.
But the pharmacy is not
It's right
One
next
after
to
that.
Yeah.
next to
Yeah, but the
that.
pharmacy doesn't have too many customers, though.
The same volume, the customer. What should we do? If I say it's more customer, then you say less parking and more traffic. If you get less, then so you have to run the business. I don't know which should I go. If it's low traffic, less customer. If you more traffic and more customer, I don't know.
I know, it's probably, when you first came in here, you had an agreement of sale that was contingent upon you getting approval for a business professional. Then you went and bought it. After you got turned down, then you went and purchased the property outright. And now you're saying, well, you created your own hardship. You created your own hardship. We turned you down when you had a contingency to get out of the deal if you didn't get the zoning change. We turned you down, and then you went and purchased it anyway, and now you're coming back saying, well,
No, that's I purchased already. I purchased after I come to zoning. I didn't purchase the property. No. You look at my record. First time came before I purchased. After I purchased, I came to the zoning. Then
There was no contingency.
no contingency. You can look
well,
at
I think I saw the first.
No,
agreement. I think I saw a copy of the first agreement. It had a contingency.
Maybe he had somebody else.
somebody else maybe, not me.
Okay. Well, still, even if you didn't, then maybe you should have. You should have had a contingency.
As the I never. But the things is according to the maps you of general commercial. That's the my mind is.
Well-
Once I apply that UN, they say this is not general commercial. This is professional.
You tried to change it from business professional to commercial the last time when you came in with the contingency. You got turned down. Now you're coming in with the same thing, but you own the building this time. You want to make the same change that you were turned down for before.
No, we already owned that before too, previously.
Well, either way, you were turned down for it once before, and now you're coming back in
I think you owned it
for
the
the same
second time.
thing.
The second time. This is the third time. But the first time you didn't.
Does anyone else on the board have any questions?
Yeah, it looks like this was up in front of the planning commission earlier this year, but was denied by the planning commission.
Yeah.
What were their comments and their reason why they denied it?
Because of the high traffic, that was only the reason.
And you still wanted to come in front of
I mean,
council?
there is a central lane as well to prevent that happening. That's why they make the central lane. And in a previous planning, we had a drive-through, and I believe the drive-through was kind of major issue, so we removed the drive-through from that property, so there won't be any accidents or chances of getting one. And that's why we reapply for it, removing that smoke shop and the drive-through.
But the planning commission still recommended denial?
Yes.
Any other questions?
Just the gentleman, Mr. Popley, obviously you're the applicant. Mr. Shaw, your relationship to this application?
Yes, I work for Mr. Popley.
Okay, thank you.
change in zoning?
Members of the council and other officials. My name is Bakshish Singh Sandhu. Bakhshishh. My middle name is Singh, Singh, and last name Sand, as in David, HU. Honorable members of the board and other officials, I'm here to make a case that this zoning request is very unreasonable. And I'll explain how. First of all, the properties use request is not compatible with the other properties. As I mentioned, one side is the doctor's office, and the other side is the insurance office. So it's not compatible. But if let's go back a little bit, when Street Road and Nice Road were dirt properties, they were dirt roads. This property was not built commercial, neither commercial, nor business commercial, nor general commercial. It was probably a house. You probably can go in the history. So it looks like a house, but it's a very small property. And if you have, it has been built as if there will be window service, drive in, drive out. So if you drive into the property, that takes 1/3 of the property out. So if you drive out of the property, it takes 1/3 other part of the property house. In front of the property, if you put a space for a handicap, you have 2 spaces left. And then you may have parking in the back, but there's a grade on the property. So, if you grade the people who park in the back, they basically, it's very hard to walk up when people bring cars in and cars out. So that's one thing. Number one, the use request is unreasonable because the size and the parking and the accessibility to the convenience store from the parking spaces. So if you have parking spaces all the way down, then you're walking up, and then the cars are coming in and out. How are they going to walk out to the parking? The second thing is, let's say traffic. Bensalem and all that township used to be 50 years ago. Bensalem is one of the busiest city. And, as you have noticed, can you tell me the difference between Philadelphia and Bensalem? You can't. This is kind of continuous flow of traffic. You can't tell the business people that the Philadelphia ends and the Bensalem starts. So if you want to make left turn into the property coming from Philadelphia, it's very hard. And similarly, if you want to make a left turn when you're coming out of the property, that's even harder. On the Knights Road property going to Philadelphia from Bensalem, there are 3 sources feeding the traffic. The Knights Road itself, coming all the way down, and then Street Road going east, make a right turn at Knights Road, and then Street Road going west, making left. So when people are going from Street Road west, make a left turn, that's one flow. And the Knights Road property flow itself, and then when you make a right turn at the street and Knights Road, that's the 3 flows of property, 3 flows of the traffic. So there's continuous traffic. There's almost no good, basically, period where you can make safely left turn into and left turn out of the property going north. And the parking, so what will happen? His parking will spill into my property. So basically the parking is so small, then you will be in the doctor's office, they'll be parking in the doctor's office, or they'll be parking in the next property. So basically, as you can see, so the property and the zoning, this I think is reasonably, I think it's a very reasonable business professional, because maybe 2 or 3 patients or 2 or 3 customers come in an hour's time, and that can be accommodated, because sometimes you may see open area which people can get in and out, but not at a commercial property where if the convenience store, and God knows how many people come in at one time. So, and mention has been made if the property is sold, and then the next buyer will open cigarette store there. So even though it has been mentioned that it can be made subject to that, but people change things as time go. And cigarette sales have been curbed by many townships. City of Philadelphia, City of New York, San Francisco. So City of Philadelphia restricted the sales and they're restricting the license transfers. And similarly, City of New York has a goal to cut down 160,000 smokers out of 900 some smokers in City of New York. There were 1 million smokers, they want to cut down 160,000. And they're raising the cigarette price from 13,000, they're raising the price of the cigarette pack from 13, it's now 13, maybe 15. And in San Francisco, the license is going to be cut down in half because smoking causes, I don't want to take too much of your time, but just end like this. This smoking affects every part of your body. It affects your brain, causes stroke. It affects your neck because it causes carotid stenosis, can lead to stroke. It affects your heart because you get a heart attack. It affects your lung, you got lung disease, you got emphysema, you got a bladder cancer, and your circulation is diminished because you can't walk.
You should stop the silent cigarette.
I will answer that. I'm speaking, please let me speak and I will answer that.
Why don't you guys have a seat while the audience
Okay.
is talking?
So I will answer now. His question was that why should I not stop selling cigarettes? The gas stations are allowed use. All the gas stations in Philadelphia, New York, you go to Illinois, California, all these gas stations are allowed cigarette sale. This is a request which is unreasonable, and I'm making the case this is not compatible with the surrounding properties. This is not enough for parking. It's dangerous there to go walk down and walk up the snow when people are, walking on the snow or ice, And the traffic is, I think, you know all how the Bensalem traffic is. So I think that this is the unreasonable request, should be denied. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else in the audience that wants to come forward? Seeing no one else come forward, public comment is closed on this item. Any other questions from the board for Mr. Popley?
I don't have a question, but I just want to clarify what my main concern with this is. This has come up numerous times over the past several years, including within the past year, that the intersection of Street Road and Nice Road is one of the most dangerous intersections in the country. There are numerous fatal accidents every year. I'm sure every business owner who is in that vicinity can attest to that. They've seen it, they've helped out, which we appreciate, but it does sound like this isn't really the best location to put an additional mini-mart, additional retail stop, which would only increase pedestrian traffic in an already dangerous location. And I think that's the main concern here. It's traffic. You can't make the left-hand turn into the lot.
No, it's
coming out, you can't make a left-hand turn back onto Nice Road safely.
No, it's very easily, this is central and there is less traffic,
Well,
less than
okay.
on Street Road.
These are my concerns
Okay.
as far as traffic and safety. And that's, I think, paramount here.
Let them know the other business too, then can shut down everything.
Okay. Any other questions to the board? If there's no other questions, a motion would be in order.
Put a motion on the floor to deny the request to change zoning from business professional to general commercial.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion fails 5-0. Thank you. Number 7 on the agenda, consideration of public hearing on an ordinance amending Chapter 225, Vehicle and Traffic, Article 2, Traffic Regulations, Section 6, Appendix A, be enacted to create a four-way stop sign in the intersection of High and Brown Avenue.
Yes, Mr. Polari, the mayor's office received several complaints recently regarding speeding on High Avenue in the area of Brown Avenue, and also complaints that the speeding was leading to accidents at or near that intersection. As a result, the mayor directed the traffic safety officer to perform a traffic study, a copy of which has been provided to you with the proposed ordinance. The recommendation of the traffic safety officer and of the administration would be to install 2 stop signs on High Avenue at the intersection with Brown Avenue, thereby creating a 4-way stop intersection. And that would, in the opinion of the traffic safety officer, address the speeding and accident concerns that have been raised with the township. The ordinance has been properly advertised and is in a form acceptable for your consideration this evening.
Thank you. Do you have any questions from the board on this? Is there? Go ahead.
Yeah, the only question I have is not related to the stop signs. It's more kind of an administrative issue. You know, looking at the code, if you go to, you know, this article, the section, Appendix A is not listed, at least on the public website, as far as access to the ordinances. And then this is a concern that I've raised before, and I'm still waiting for a good answer. It's been now over 1.5 years since that's been updated. When are we going to update it so we have an up-to-date set of ordinances for public access?
I can't answer it tonight, Jess, I just can't give you a date.
I mean, is it going to be this year? Is it going to be in the next few months?
At the next meeting,
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Any questions on this ordinance?
I don't have a comment on it. I certainly know what the location is, but it would be nice if there were a map designating the topography of any type of stop signs coming in there.
I think we've asked for that on many occasions, to have one with everyone.
I never heard that somewhere other place before.
Is he done? Yeah, my only comment would be that it'd be nice to have a map, but I'm sure we all know, in this case anyway, Brown and High, I lived on Brown Avenue, and I would suggest you stop at almost every corner in Eddington, you know. But this is a good thing. It's dangerous if someone's coming the other way and doesn't stop like they're supposed to. And I think it's for the safety of the community there in Eddington. I think it's a good thing.
I've already requested them to look at that, to do it for all of Eddington, because there's some 4-ways, not some 4-ways, and people just blow through. So they are working on the whole Eddington area to see what we need to do to upgrade them, so.
Yeah, I moved to Eddington when I first got married in 1987, and my neighbor said, I have advice for you, stop at every corner, whether it's a stop sign or not. That was his advice to me, so I didn't get injured.
Do we have any other questions? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to come forward on this ordinance?
Hello, I'm Jimmy Lim, and I reside at 3301 Sarmiento Drive. And I agree with your comments, and I see the screens. So would we be able to pull up on Google Maps very quickly and show the intersection?
We don't have the access to do that. I don't believe we have access to put up things for the agenda item, like if there was a map here, we would put that up, and that's one of the things that we're asking for, but we don't have access to Google and do things on this. It's there to bring up plans. We'll have to find out. We'll have to find out if it's something we can do for the future, but that's something good to look into.
Yeah, just when I saw the screens, I went and I looked at the laptop. I thought maybe possibly utilizing that.
We'll have maps going forward with these, so you'll be able to see them, and we can put them up on the.
Thank you a lot.
Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? If not, a motion would be in order.
Mr. President, I'll make the motion that we approve the 4-way stop sign at the intersection of High and Brown Avenues.
Do we have a second on the motion?
Second.
Any question on motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it 5-0. Number 9 on the agenda, consideration of a resolution granting authorization for the mayor to submit an application, execute agreements and agreement amendments to the Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program, the RACP. Mr. Pizzo, are you handling that? Mayor, who's handling that one?
As the resolution before you states, the township was awarded a RACP, Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program grant by the Commonwealth in the amount of $1 million. That award was for the Livingren Foundation Frat Community Education and Medical Center. Now that the grant that has previously been applied for has in fact been approved, the next step is for the township to begin to execute all the documents necessary to receive the grant and to put the various aspects of the grant in place. In order for that to happen, the Commonwealth requires a resolution of the township advising that the mayor is authorized to submit the paperwork necessary to the Office of Budget, as well as to sign the grant agreements and amendments on behalf of the township. That resolution is before you this evening in a form acceptable to the Commonwealth, and the administration is requesting your approval of the same.
Thank you. Anyone on the board have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Is this a grant that we're applying for the benefit of living grant? Are they applying for working with them?
It is for the benefit of Livingren. However, the grant has to be applied for through the township. And so in working in cooperation with Livingren and with Senator Tomlinson and Representative DiGirolamo, the application for the grant was submitted to the Commonwealth as part of the RACP or RACP program.
So this was initiated by a second party other than the township, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Certainly.
Is this resolution specific to this Livingren project?
Yes, it is.
So this would only provide authorization to address the paperwork for this Frat Community Education Medical Center?
Yes.
That sounds like
Okay.
I think it's already built. It's just.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out, because we've already received the grant, we've already applied for it, so I'm not sure I understand even item 1 here. We don't need to submit an application to the Office of the Budget, do we?
No, you have to okay, council has to okay to give us the authorization to carry through with that grant.
But we've already applied for it. The application's been submitted and it's been approved.
Each step of the way, the Commonwealth will again ask for authorization or some verification from this board as to who is authorized to execute the various documents associated with the grant on behalf of the township. So it is not uncommon. In fact, it is commonplace for us to ask you to approve the mayor and or the director of administration, as well as any other applicable individuals, to sign the documents first when they're being submitted for the grant and subsequently after the grant's been awarded, so that those individuals have the ability to sign the various agreements or other documents, payment applications, whatever they might be, on behalf of the township.
Okay, and who would normally, if we don't provide this authorization, who would be responsible for signing all of those documents? Would that be council?
No, it would be, in this case...
Just find a designee
yes.
within the administration to do it?
Sure.
Gary, just.
Yeah, I guess my last question is if we grant the authorization, is it possible to keep council informed of, any of the documents that do get submitted on behalf of the township?
I'm sure, as is true of just about any other of the applications that the township submits to the Commonwealth for various grants, if any of you want to see them or want copies of them, I'm sure you can get them from Mr. Samori or Mr. Szwajkowski. They're public records.
Right.
Is this, in my understanding, this is a process that you go through on a number of occasions for different activities, and when you get to the point of finalizing it, you still have to get the approval of council, and that's where we are today.
Yes, the Commonwealth will want a copy of this resolution in the file indicating who is authorized to sign the grant agreement. Even though you already gave the mayor authority to sign the paperwork to apply for the grant, the Commonwealth is going to ask now who's authorized to sign the contract, who's authorized to submit the applications to the Office of Budget, because again, these go, once it's been approved, they go to different offices, not just the Department of Community the Department of Community and Economic Development. So the Office of Budget gets involved in some cases, General Services gets involved, and so again, in all candor, we don't ask. When the state tells us, you want $1 million, we want a piece of paper that tells us who's authorized to sign, we give it to them.
Yeah.
So is there another application that has to be submitted?
Not this one, this was one application.
Okay.
No, but when it says an application, that's typically the paperwork that's submitted to the Office of Budget that starts to break the money loose as it becomes necessary to pay whoever gets paid under the grant.
All right, so we can just reword this to submit,
I wouldn't reword anything because I believe it's worded in the form that the Commonwealth has given us. I mean, you certainly,
Well, my concern
at
is
the end
that
of the
it
day, it's up
doesn't
to
seem-
council to, you can change it any way you want.
My
But again-
concern is that this reads as blanket authority for the mayor to apply for funds from the state for this program outside of this specific Living Green Foundation project. So that's my concern, is that I wouldn't want to provide any kind of blanket authorization. If it's specific to moving forward with this project, that's a whole nother story. It's just not worded as such. I see that it's at the top, but now therefore be it resolved that, and then it's providing pretty much blanket authorization.
Jess, what we're doing here is doing a favor for Living Green.
No, I'm all for
That's
that.
all we're doing.
I'm
Believe me,
100% behind
We have to
behind the
do the
project.
paperwork, it's audited like crazy. It's a lot of work for us to go through it. We're doing them a favor by doing it.
Yeah, I went
Do you
to the grand.
You see my concern?
Yeah.
Let me ask you, can somebody turn it up? We're on the record, we're here. This, if you guys could, Mayor, this is only being used for this program, no other program. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
We do get these every year for HUD stuff, and it's usually broken down into what it's going to be used for. This one is just for the use to help
It
Living
doesn't mean
Green
the
with their new
mayor's going to
facility.
go applying for the grants.
What we can do, gentlemen, is we can certainly table this. I can get Mr. Sloan's concerns. We can take them back to the Department of Community and Economic Development and the Office of Budget, see if they're agreeable to those changes. If they are, we'll incorporate them and bring this back to you in 2 weeks to a month, and Living Green will wait for the grant during that period of time. I'm perfectly happy
I
to
hate
do all
to
of
stall
that if
this
we
over
can.
this, because I don't know what the concern is. What is the mayor going to do? Apply for grants for what? Like, just go crazy applying for grants all over the state for state?
Mr. Sloan, are you okay with the mayor
It seems to
stating
me,
that
as
that's
I
only
read the
it's gonna be
very
used
first
for?
sentence of this, it says, whereas the township was awarded for the Living Green Foundation Pratt Community Education and Medical Center.
It's all under one paragraph.
I mean, that to me tells me everything I need to know on this specific
Living Green
thing. And at the
raised,
bottom it says, that's number 2, I guess that's your concern, the mayor is authorized to sign all, correct?
some of us,
RACP grant agreements, is that what you're concerned with? Is that sentence?
Yeah, the meat of
The
it
whole
is
sentence
this here. The mayor's authorized
Yeah,
to
but
submit
under-
an application
Yeah, but
to the Office of the Budget. And 2, the mayor's authorized to sign all RACP grant agreements and agreement amendments on behalf of the Township of Bensalem.
Yeah, in reference
It
to
does
this.
not say, it
Well, it's
does
under
not
this
say in
paragraph,
reference to the
though.
Living
It's under
Green
that
Foundation
paragraph.
project.
it's under this paragraph, though. It's the same, it only applies to,
Remember the saying, it's less work for mother? Remember that
But
saying when you
it's-
cook? Well, I'll tell you what, guys, you can have it. It's a lot of work for us. We're doing it for a community project, that's all, period. And however you want to do it, you can handle it.
I would hate to stall Living Green getting their money for this, because I was at the grand opening and so was several other people, and we toured the facility. It's a detox for people suffering in this heroin addiction, and they raised $400,000, I think the Chapman family donated towards it, and there was private money, and Senator Thomason and State Rep Gene DiGirolamo were able to get them $1 million to get people somewhere to be when they're detoxing off of heroin, and I don't think we should stall about it myself.
I don't have a single problem with the mission of Live and Grin, what they're working for and what they're achieving.
Mr. Sloan, would you be okay if with the mayor stated that this is only be used for that? Usually they are broken down with that, so are you okay to
That's
move
fine.
forward?
If we're going forward on the record,
Yes.
that this is the only thing that we are allowing with this resolution is the administration of the documents for this specific project.
And he just agreed to that.
And he just agreed to that.
agreed. So,
Okay.
all right, so then a motion would be in order.
I'm going to put it in the form of a motion if you're asking for one, unless,
I am.
Eddie, you want to say something? I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
just a
don't
quick
wanna-
question for you. So just to clarify, it's limited to $1 million for the RAP funding. If there's anything additional, Mr. Pizzo, that would also then come, let's just assume that Live and Grin or any other third party had applied for funds for this particular project. This would come back through council?
I don't know. I'm not sure, based on your question, I can give you a definitive answer. The township has applied for a $1 million RACP grant that it's been awarded. This resolution pertains to that. If Live and Grin were to apply for something else separate and apart through another funding source, whether it involved the Commonwealth, the county, the federal government, it would be a separate something else, whether that funding agency, what they would require of the five of you and of the mayor and of the director of administration and from me in terms of who can sign what and who needs approvals to do what, I can't give you that sort of an assurance.
Specific to this program?
Specific to this program, again, this resolution, I believe, based on the fact that it's the resolution that was given to us by the Commonwealth, deals with the $1 million RACP grant for the Frat Community Education and Medical Center at Live and Grin. To the extent that any of the five of you, or collectively all five of you, have concerns that by authorizing this, you are giving the mayor carte blanche to suddenly go wild and begin spending township funds indiscriminately for any number of things, then I suggest we table it. I'll take those concerns back to the Commonwealth. We'll get the changes made to the extent the Commonwealth wants them made, or will agree to have them made, and we'll bring it back to you in a month or so. Hopefully that won't jeopardize the funding.
And the second question, the $1 million would 100% be allotted to Live and Grin?
$1 million, right?
That's my understanding, yes.
Thank you.
I don't know how you can read it any other way. I mean, it's not 20 pages or 50 pages or 100 pages. It's about 3 paragraphs. It's very specific. It says it was awarded for the Live and Grin Foundation. That's in the first sentence. The next one says it's $1 million and the RAP funding hasn't been approved via the legislation. And then it gives the mayor the authorization to sign the papers that are approved, that are appropriate, that need to be done, and we're giving the mayor that authorization for this specific project. Now, if you want to read between the lines, go ahead, but I can't read between the lines. I can read what is in front of me right now. That's what I read.
I'm just reading what's in front of me.
Yeah, but
Well,
you're reading part of it. You
You're interpreting it differently.
can't take
okay?
a piece of it.
If the mayor is willing to, like we said before, commit that the authorization is specific to this project and this project alone.
He already did.
You already did.
He already did.
You already did.
I don't know why we're still discussing it.
Okay, let's vote.
All right, I'll put a motion on the floor. As I said, I'll put a motion for to be approved the resolution as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Do we have any other questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? 5-0. Approved.
Okay. Where are we now?
Number 11, consideration of a minor land development plan for Millennium Properties Investment LLC, location 4851 Street Road, proposed use parking lot, zoning classification BP, tax parcel 2-41 and 84-1. Do we have anybody here for this? Mr. Pizzo, we didn't get anybody calling asking for continuance on this?
Not to me, Mr. Valeri. I don't know if any contact had been made to any of the other parties involved either. I'm assuming Ms. McBreen hasn't received any contact. I don't know if any contact was made to the Department of Building and Planning, but typically, well, not typically, in all cases, the applicant is notified when the matter is placed on the township's agenda.
What's the pleasure of the board? Do we want to get have the opportunity to reach out to the applicant? Maybe they forgot that they were on the agenda, or do we want to just vote on it and we can, whatever you guys want to do?
I would say we give them an opportunity to present it a second time.
In the past, we have done that, but it's always been a vote of the board to decide whether to.
Right.
The applicant isn't represented by an attorney, so I haven't been contacted by anyone, at least not based upon the application that's in your packet. They seem to be represented only by an engineer.
If the board is in favor, we can make a motion to continue it to our July 9th meeting and give the applicant an opportunity to pull it or to come forward.
I'll put that in a form of a motion.
I'll second it.
Any question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Joe, can we have somebody reach out to him from either building and planning and find out what's going on? Would you do that, Mr. Gans? Thank you.
Maybe I had Phillies tickets.
Number 13 or 12 on the agenda, public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that has any public comment? Yes, I'll do it next. Yeah.
I know this seems, I'm Barbara Zeidler, 1108 Ohio Avenue. And I know this seems like a relatively minor thing. It's not $1 million project. But quite a while ago now, the intersection was completed at Mechanicsville and Bybury/Park Boulevard, or whatever that's called. And at the time that was being done, there was a sign taken down that was the deer crossing. Now, I know it's June, but October is going to be here before we know it. And those deer are going to start running again. And if you're coming from Galloway toward Street Road, there's a sign right there. And I'm talking about where the public protected open space is. It is posted, as I say, right after you cross Galloway, coming across Mechanicsville Road. But coming the other way, as soon as you pass Park's back door, it gets very dark and it's very isolated and there is nothing posted there. I would really like to see that sign get put up. I'm sure it's just an oversight, but I'd like to see it happen before somebody is seriously hurt or killed at that stretch of road. It's not that big a deal, and I don't think it's going to cost that much, but it really should be taken care of.
Mr. Mayor, you can take care of that?
Yeah. And it is a big deal, and it is important because someone really could get hurt. I saw deer out here at night at Bybury Road as I'm pulling in tonight. There was 2 deer out here. Oh yeah, you can have a serious accident. Someone could lose their life hitting a deer, so it's.
We have any other public comment?
Hello, my name is Peggy Dater. I am the chair of the Bucks County Human Relations Council. And I'm here with Joyce Hadley, who is also a member of the council.
Can you tell me your last name again?
Dator. Dater. A few months ago, the Bensalem community learned about the interest of the Bensalem Police Department in pursuing an application for the federal ICE 287G program. I'm sure you all remember. As awareness of this program grew, a number of people became concerned about the potential negative impact of this program on residents and businesses in the community. Many came and spoke before the council on several occasions. People were really scared, and in spite of the reassurances by Mr. Haran as to the intent of the program, they continue to be very concerned about this. The mission of the Bucks County Human Relations Council is to promote diversity and end discrimination in Bucks County, and this led us to get involved in this issue. We know Bensalem to be one of the most diverse and welcoming communities in this county. We were concerned about the divisiveness that developed around the 287G program. Several of our council members met with Mayor DiGirolamo to discuss our concerns, and we were thrilled to learn of his decision not to pursue 287G. We agreed to issue a press release to announce this decision, and shortly thereafter I had phone calls from several reporters in Philadelphia who had been actively following this issue. Both reporters were surprised about the decision and asked me why I thought we could trust the mayor, and I responded that he personally gave me his word. Their reactions were similarly, and why would you trust that? I said that based on everything I had heard about him, he is a man of his word, and that's really all I could go on. Martin Luther King Jr. said that the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. We are here tonight to publicly thank Mayor DiGirolamo, a man of his word, for making the decision not to pursue the controversial 287G program. A decision that was probably not comfortable or convenient, but which we believe, along with many in this community, was the best decision for Bensalem. So thank you.
Joyce Hadley, Deputy Chair of the Human Relations Council. Good evening, gentlemen. I am here also to second that. Mr. Mayor, we are very thankful and very proud that you held your ground because you did not want to see a divided community here in Bensalem Township. So we thank you very much for that. And you are a person of your word, and we know that St. Catherine Drexel would also be very proud of you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Do we have any other public comment?
I have a three-parter. Jimmy Lamb, 3301 Sarmiento Drive. And I have a couple follow-up questions about my previous statement. Who are we asking to get the maps?
The police department.
Okay, gotcha.
They supply the maps of where they are, where the intersection is, and where the signs are going to be.
Okay. And why can't we just pull them up on the screens here? Like, is there specific...
And I told you I would get the answer to that because these were just put in and we're not up to snuff with everything we can do, and we will get the answer to that. And if it is available, then we will be able to do that in the future.
Gotcha.
Mr. President, can I ask a question just for, what is the map?
He's saying he can MapQuest Brown Avenue and High, pull it up off the internet and put it up on here so everybody understands where Brown Avenue and High is.
The police department is supposed to give us a map with it, and they didn't, so.
They could draw a little map here, but.
As per the spirited conversation over item line 9, I just wanted to say I'm appreciative of the question with that sentence, because I've personally sat in that waiting room with someone in Living Green, and I'm actually very happy to see that be a spirited conversation because we're all looking for moving everyone forward together. So I'm actually happy there was a mild disagreement over that. And the main reason I came tonight was, I feel you're shrugging, but I came in because I was disconcerted with some stuff I've been seeing in the news with Mr. Herron's comments over utilizing students' privacy and looking to relinquish some of that privacy of students to look for bettering our safety in Bensalem. And I feel like that's a little backwards. And seeing you in the audience tonight, would you mind commenting further on that?
You're speaking to the board. You don't speak to Mr. Herron.
Gotcha.
Mr. Herron's going to come up. It'll be my decision if that happens, so please
Okay.
continue.
If we could ask him to elaborate on those comments, or
What is it about student privacy being revealed? What does that mean?
as I saw the comment, I wish I brought it in to make it a lot more clear, but
Parents looking into their children's bedrooms and things like that.
no, it looked like asking lawmakers to diminish the amount of protections around student privacy, because on the federal and state level, we have protections for students'
Are you
privacy.
talking about the bedroom thing?
No, I'm talking about health records, attendance records, and stuff along those lines.
Is it school board issue that he was talking about, or?
I don't know, I guess you better.
I'm not 100% sure, which is why I'm asking for him to comment further if...
Okay, I'm not sure either.
Okay, well, when you're finished, I'll allow him to come up. It's not going to get into a debate between
Oh,
you and the director. So
yeah,
when you're done,
definitely. If he comes up and speaks...
We can talk to you in private if you want.
Yeah.
Explain it to you.
We're not going to make this a debate at our meeting for this.
I'm not looking to make a debate. I'm just looking to make some clarity, and if anyone else in the community came across that, I just want people to...
Fantastic.
To hear what he's coming from as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sir. Director, would you like to come forward and try and... Well, I want to finish with this one first, then we'll go on. Director, do you want to answer that question? Please come up.
I brought a paraphrase of the
I think I'm familiar with what he's referring to, but I'm not going to discuss that here in a council forum unless I'm ordered to. But it's something that we're working on to protect the students in light of the events around the nation with school shootings. We take it very seriously, working with the police, fire, EMS, and the school district to make sure that every opportunity is seized to protect students at Bensalem School District and to make sure that a horrific event that's been happening around this country never happens here. That's my job, and I'll do everything legally possible to ensure that. So I'm not really sure what else he's talking about.
That answer is perfectly fine. If it's something that can't be discussed here, that's fine. I wasn't sure exactly what he was talking about, so.
Yeah.
Well, Director, if you don't mind, I think what he's referring to is the article that came out last week about the security systems in the school district. And you mentioned about, and I was going to, ask a similar question. It sounds like lobbying lawmakers to repeal federal law which protects students' records. And is that your position? Is that the administration's position? Yeah. It wasn't really clear. I understand the need to do everything we can to prevent these horrific events from happening, and I agree with you on that mission 100%. I think the question is, why are we going to go and lobby as a township to change federal law? And I'm referring to the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act.
Sure. I'm familiar with what you're talking about. Some of the things in that NBC article, NBC story, was not exactly correct when it talked about accessing students' grades. That was not said,
figured as much.
nor do we have any interest in that. There are other issues that we're looking at to open the line of communication between the school information and police information to better ascertain and prevent school violence, specifically school shootings, that often, as you hear around the nation, media reports after the event, you should have known, he was on the radar, everyone had information. It's my job to prevent and not necessarily react. We're prepared to react. What I want to do is prevent any student's death in this township. And I would be surprised to find any councilman or school board member that would want me not to take any legal action possible within the scope of the rules and regulations that we have available, or if some of those rules and regulations can be changed legally, why not take advantage of them to prevent a student from being killed? I would be shocked to find anybody that says, we don't want you to go down that road, and if someone dies, they die.
No,
I wouldn't think so.
I'm not talking about that.
Okay.
I'm just trying to fully understand, what your what you're pushing for? And is this something that is your position, or I guess, Mr. Mayor, is this an administration position?
Well, this is, law enforcement often looks at ways to better ourselves, to prevent crime and to arrest criminals. And we work with legislators. We have some projects going now to work with legislators on a state level and legislators on a federal level to change some policies and laws that have been on the books 50, 60, 70 years, that it's time for a change. There are those that told Columbus, don't go, you'll fall off, and he proved the world was round.
We're not talking about flat earth versus round globe.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Fred, can I have a question?
Sure.
If you lobby the state legislator to consider changing a law, you're perfectly able to do that. And eventually, it would be up to the state, whether it's the state senate and the state house, and then Governor Wolf would have to sign it in the law if there was any changes anyway. So if that's your opinion, that it would make your opinion is that changing some of the privacy things here and there would make our students safer. Is that what you're saying? That if we had more access to some information, that you might be able to prevent a school shooting? So let the Senate and the state argue about that, and let Governor Wolf sign it in the law if he thinks it's going to change. I don't know why this is a township issue. I don't know.
I agree with you, Mr. Knowles.
I also agree. I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out is this a township issue or not?
Of course it's a township issue. We have 14 schools.
Well, so there you go.
I know.
Is it a state issue? Is it a federal issue? Is it a township issue?
Yeah, but if you're a candidate for state rep when a Democratic side comes up and brings up a state, do you think it's a coincidence he's running for state rep and he's going to start hammering the...
I have no idea.
You don't have no idea?
I cannot read his mind.
Well,
so my issue is...
You don't know he's running for state rep?
Of course I know he's running.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
It's a township issue because we have 14 schools in this township. It's every township. It's a Bristol Township issue. It's a Marsville Township issue. You're lucky to have me being aggressive and wanting to change laws and make things better.
All I'm trying to figure out is this...
He can't change the law.
Is this... You are pushing for this with... And I understand that you want to see this, change at the legal level. Or is this coming from the mayor?
The mayor doesn't tell the police what to do.
I'm sorry, I didn't ask you.
Well, I can make comments. The mayor doesn't... It's ridiculous.
I
just want to know.
I discuss issues with the mayor, certain issues, depending on what it is.
I'm aware of that, but that doesn't answer the question.
I can't answer if the mayor wants this change, or I can't answer that question for you. I'm not sure what you're asking.
Well, I'm asking if this pursuit that you're quoted and there's video of you in this interview, is this... Did the mayor ask you to pursue this, or is this something that is just an idea on your own?
No, the mayor did not ask me to pursue this.
He wouldn't answer and walked out of the chambers.
This is a problem that I have
That's
identified.
not fair, Mr. Sloan. The mayor got up to speak to the chair and vice chair of the Human Relations Commission as they were leaving.
That's fine, but I've asked the question
The people at
several
home
times.
can't see that, so...
This is an issue that I have identified with other police personnel, not only around the county, but around the state, and also around the nation, for that matter of fact. And it's an avenue I think we should pursue, and we're going to pursue it to protect our students. Are you not in favor of protecting students?
That's not the...
Would you want me to take any and all means possible to protect the students in Bensalem Township?
Of course, within what is legal, this is not something that is...
Legal is doing what I'm doing. I go to Congress or go to state reps to have them change the law. If Fred Herron arbitrarily changed the law today, you would have a problem. I'm not doing that. I'm going the way our system was set up. Unless you're telling me that you don't want me to pursue avenues to protect our students, I don't think I'm hearing you say that.
Director, don't put words into my mouth.
Well, I'm not sure what you're asking me.
My question was whether the direction was coming from the mayor or from you.
The mayor.
And Mr. Mayor, maybe you can answer the question.
Hold up. Here we go again. Our director does and explores things and goes out and looks into things. And if it was something that I thought that we wouldn't pursue at some point in time, I would call the director in and I said, this is not a policy we want to take. I have not heard that. I hear exploration on how we can better protect our kids. And believe me, it's on the top of all of our minds. If there isn't somebody in here not worried about our kids in the schools right now, there's something wrong with him. If he's exploring those things, I give him every leeway. Please, search for anything. If it's with guns, the law change, it would be for the better, he'll pursue it. If it was something that came and I said, oh my God, we're not doing this in the town, I would sit down and talk to the director, say, don't go that route. That's
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
Thank you. That's the answer I was looking for.
Mr. Tucknasian, you have a question?
Just one question. For the benefit of residents, whether they agree or disagree, I'm just trying to gauge the value and the effectiveness of going on a news channel to express this particular opinion. I guess my question to you is, have you sat down with state lawmakers, legislators, to discuss your suggestion with changing the FERPA laws?
So the issue we're talking about today is a federal law. So yes, I have sat down with Congressman Fitzpatrick. I am working with him on this issue.
Okay. So you are discussing that with him at this particular time?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to come forward?
Hello, everyone. My name's Bob Garton. And Bob Garton, G-A-R-T-O-N. We would like to know what the status is of the property at 2701 Bellevue in Nottingham, section of Bensalem. People in Nottingham have heard certain things that are possibly going on with the home, and we'd like to know, or get some answers from the
I
police.
just think we have a few concerns about them being a school right there.
Anybody who's going to talk, you have to say
Steve
your name and
Scrimizzi.
address, please.
Scrimizzi. I think we just have concerns with them being a proximity of a school and a park there, that we put a drug rehabilitation home right between the two of them.
You know, it's like a major concern, not only to the school and the properties around it, to the homes, with the value of the homes. You know, I know there's other sections in not in Bensalem, outside of Bensalem, and maybe in Bensalem too, that have drug rehab homes or whatever, and the property value, I know for a fact, is going way down. And there's a major safety issue. We need some answers on them things.
Just to understand, I think the information that you're getting is from the sale of the property, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Can I bring everybody up to date?
He's asking you questions.
I don't know if you knew we met with some of the residents this past week?
No.
You didn't know?
I
Okay.
didn't personally, no.
There was, I think, I met with five, yeah, and the solicitor was with me, Joe was with me. We went, and all the concerns you're talking about, obviously, they had a petition signed. I don't know if you signed a petition or not.
Yeah.
Here's what come out of that. What we're doing, and we're getting our congressman, Senator Thomason, Representative DiGirolamo, and we're having a special meeting. The only thing that's holding us up right now is the congressman to give us that date, which I hope is this week, where we're going to have you all come in on an open meeting and discuss all of these issues. It's I don't know how to explain it to you. It's mandated. This council in previous years had passed a ordinance to where they tried to stop some of it, only 5 people in a house, except for RA. This property happens to be RA.
Can you enlighten me to that RA thing?
It's a big property.
Yeah.
I think they told me
Very.
3 acres, right?
3 acres, yeah.
It's a big property. Now, what we did find out today, we got a hold of John Beecroft. Do you know John Beecroft?
No.
This is a drug-free zone, no sex offenders, tested regularly, monitored 24/7. There are 5 people in there. They gave us the names. They had to give us the names of the people in there. There's 5. So I'm bringing you up to date. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, good.
This isn't going to take away from this meeting we're having.
Good.
I'm just letting you know what in the heck is going on. It came to my attention, somebody saw it on Facebook. That's how I know. I was very angry over that. Very angry.
Does
Because
something
we-
like this have to be rezoned? Does the property have to be rezoned?
It does not.
It does not?
It does not.
But doesn't it have enough for 12 beds?
Yeah, I would think so.
I can't answer
I've
that.
been in the home already,
I can't. They told me the folks that live next door were in to see me, right
Joe.
next door.
Joe told?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Both sides, I guess it was, they
Yeah,
were in.
yeah.
And we're going to give you everything everything we can do. You'll know in a special meeting, everybody signed that petition will be invited. We got to get everybody in the same room. We can go through this up here like crazy. And the bottom line is, the federal government mandates this. The federal government. So we want to get everybody in the same room, see if Harrisburg could tighten up on what the heck, or how this is close to the school. I understand there's a back path that goes to the school or something?
Well, I think what the concern is if there's an emergency at the school, those kids got to walk right past there to the park. They go to the park for an emergency.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get into all of
It's
this.
just- it's a
We're going to
problem.
get in and make sure you get the service you deserve up there, because
Are we going to get a notice in the mail? Alice Schubert, Shubert.
I will make sure absolutely you get a notice. What we'll probably do is put a flyer, get you a flyer, and anybody who's that signed that petition, we have everybody's name. So I think that's the best way to do it.
Okay.
And then you'll get it, and if you got neighbors who want to go,
Well, we
but,
appreciate that.
Good.
and it'll probably be right in here, and council certainly invited to come to listen to our legislators and find out how we can do. And the other part is we're looking into the school with the path in the back here in the township. We're trying to look into that. We're on your side 1,000%.
Yeah, really, really.
Children in the neighborhood have to pass that house all the time.
Yeah. We're on it.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
And you're going to be
Thank
on
you.
it. We're all in it together. We'll
Okay, we
have a good meeting.
Good.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you for the response.
Mayor, just a quick question. Can we also advertise on the website and/or Facebook?
When the meeting is?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I want to keep it in Nottingham, or else we move to some school or something. You're going to get 100 people in Nottingham.
Yeah.
You'll fill this room.
Is there anyone else you would like to come forward? Seeing no one, public comment is closed. I have a walk-in that was brought to us. It's the 2018 Community Development Block Grant Program.
thing we had
Mr.
those
Mayor, you
meetings.
handling this?
Oh, thank
The
you.
block grant?
You're starting with me?
No, we have the block grant walk-in.
Oh, yeah, I have it, yes. Does everybody have it? It's a time constraint on us, and I apologize for that, but this is done every year at the block grant, HUD. This is the HUD money that we get every year. Do you have it in front of you? Did you read it?
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody read it? So again, we need a resolution from council to approve this. We got a little less money this year. It keeps going down. We were up to 500,000 a few years ago, but they keep going lower and lower. And if you see on the back, or not the back, but the second page gives you where the money goes, where it's approved to use for. The housing rehabilitation program, curb cut program, you know what that is, right? That's the ramps to where, for challenged people, and the homeless shelter, and the administration to do the program.
Thank you, Mayor. Do we have any questions from the board?
I have a general question about the curb cut program. Do we have any idea how much the township does not
Any what?
have ADA compliant curbs?
That's what they are.
Yeah, I know. How much of the township is still not ADA compliant? Do we know?
Gosh,
It's more of a curiosity.
it's a lot. It's not all done, I can tell you that. And we're working on it. This year, a lot will be
Yeah,
done.
some don't have the curbs and sidewalks.
Actually,
Yeah.
the contract went out for this year, and I'll get you a number. I don't know.
I'm just curious, yeah.
There's a big number going out, but we won't have them all done this year. There's a lot of them.
Any other questions from the board?
Let me just change one other thing, Joe. A lot of the old ones we had aren't ADA anymore, where the curb cut is, so we have to replace all that. If you notice the red thing in the middle, they had to put that, the pad, yeah. So we have to change those too.
If there's no other questions, then a motion would be in order.
I'll put in form a motion that we approve the walk-in of dated June 11th, 2018 for the 2018 Community Development Block Grant as presented.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it, 5-0. Other board members?
Took me again.
Oh, sorry.
Ed Topasian.
Good point. Let me report on my motion that we amend the agenda to include it. I did refer to the walk-on, but let's amend the agenda to make that part of the
Do you want to
motion.
amend your second?
Yep, I'll amend the second as well.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you. Mr. Yates, other business from supporting personnel. You have anything?
Nothing, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Pizzo?
I'm sure everyone else will share in these sentiments as we go around. Bensalem High School baseball team is now 22-3, and in the state semifinals, slated to face a very tough LaSalle High School college team. That game was supposed to be at 4 o'clock today, but because of yesterday's rain, the game has been moved to tomorrow at 4 o'clock at Newman University. Anyone whose schedules would allow, please go out and root on the boys. I had the privilege over the years to have coached a number of the boys on that team, so I feel a very special place in my heart for them, and obviously wish them well tomorrow against LaSalle.
Thank you, Mr. Pizzo. Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. President. To remind everybody, this on the 14th is Flag Day. And having said that, I don't know how many of you know out there the great job the Kiwanis Club does in putting these flags up. It costs you $25. If anybody doesn't do it, I don't know who can't. They put it up and take it down four times a year. So, and they do that. They're not making any money out of this. They're just doing it for the patriotism. So if you don't have a flag up, they'll come and do it 4 times a year, take it down. So I think that's a great way to do it. The days are Memorial Day, the 4th of July, Veterans Day, and certainly Flag Day. The other thing, congratulations to Bensalem baseball team, tremendous. And our Parks and Recreation program starts on the 18th, on Monday the 18th. So.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Sloan.
I have a question. As far as recycling, I had some residents ask if we're doing recycling at the municipal parks. It sounds like at Firefighters Field they're not recycling. Are we recycling here in the township and at other municipal facilities? I know the school district does.
Help me out.
Do we recycle at all township facilities?
At all townships, the only place, and we're trying to do it now, is when we have the concerts. It gets darn difficult. We're trying to put double cans and get people to recycle there. Or we do recycle in all of our places, yes.
But it sounds like we're not doing it at some of the municipal parks. I had a resident complain to me that at
Which one? This one?
Firefighters Field.
The soccer field's behind the
Firefighters?
Belmont Ridge.
Yeah.
I'll find out, Joe. I thought we did, actually, but.
Resident was told by the park ranger that there was no recycling there.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
think that's something we can look into. Okay.
Sure.
Also, Mr. Pizzo, is there an update on the ordinance change regarding residency restrictions?
Yes, we prepared an ordinance for your consideration. Lauren prepared it out of my office, and with not having any guidance per se as to how the ordinance should read, other than eliminating residency requirements. She drafted it initially to deal only with the department heads, which are codified in a certain area of the Township Administrative Code and Employee manuals. In discussing it with Council President Polari, he thought that we should probably start from the presumption for the 5 of you to consider an ordinance that entailed all employees of the township, and therefore he asked me to go back and have the ordinance expanded to include all employees. Again, the initial pass at that was done by Lauren, working off of what she understood the charge to be. So we're in the process right now of, again, having discussed it with Mr. Polari, of reworking the ordinance. It won't take much, but reworking it so that you'll have, for your consideration, an ordinance that would strike all residency requirements, and then you collectively can decide whether you want to go that route, whether you want to narrow it, whether you want to modify it. But we started, we're tweaking it so that it starts from the assumption that all residency would be gone.
I did do that because it was the employees of the different departments who were asking about it, not that it wasn't for the department heads, and it came through with only the department heads, and that's not the way we should look at it, and that's why I asked Mr. Paizo and Ms. Gallagher to redo it and put them all in there, and then we can decide whether we want to do it or not do it.
Okay, thank you for the update, appreciate that. I have one other question. There was another article, and I hate to keep bringing up media articles, but we can't seem to stay out of the news these days. There was one regarding government paychecks, which I thought was really interesting. But this is really just trying to clarify some of these discrepancies. We've asked for Q1 financial statement for the past several months. We're now approaching the end of the second quarter.
I thought it went out today.
We have seen nothing, but my concern is, the article states, Mayor, your compensation, $96,310. I know for a fact that the ordinance specifies your salary only at $65,000 per year, and so I don't understand the discrepancy. I was just hoping that we can get an explanation for that.
There's a raise in it every year.
Council voted to give the mayor a 2%
In the same ordinance.
cost of living, and I'm not sure if that's in the ordinance or not. It should be,
Yeah,
because
it is.
we did
Yeah,
pass
it
it
is.
a long
It is.
time ago.
So the version of the ordinance, like I said, this goes back to trying to get this thing updated because we're getting misinformation. I've got it here, the compensation of the mayor shall be $65,000 per year, payable in accordance with the township's regular payroll schedules for its employees. It says nothing regarding a 2% increase for cost of living.
It's in there.
Okay, so
It's not in this section of the ordinance.
It was an amendment.
Well,
I'll get it for you. It's,
Okay.
I'm not stealing, Jess, please.
No, and my concern really goes back to trying to see these, quarterly financial reports. We've got budget meeting coming up in December, and we're 6 months out. We haven't heard nothing about, how we're doing with last year's budget. So I've got concerns. I'm sure other council members have concerns. I'd like an update. We're nearing the end of Q2, and we haven't even heard from Q1 yet.
I think that went out today, honest. You should have that tomorrow.
Okay.
If you don't have it already, email to you.
No.
In talking to John Szwajkowski, the reason that it was behind is because they were in the middle of the audit for the fuel,
And he
fuel
did
area
express
took it
that to
behind.
us, and I understand that.
And he told me when you had asked that he would get it out as quickly as possible,
Okay.
so.
Okay, and then we'll want a Q2 statement too, once they have that wrapped up. One thing that as I'm thinking about this, I know historically we've had one budget meeting at the end of the year. Given the fact that we want to be able to take a look at the stuff on at least a quarterly basis, I'd like to, make some kind of proposal that we do, break it up into 2 sessions, one where we have the presentation of the budget, that gives us an opportunity to ask questions, take the time to get them answered, and then have a follow-up meeting where we actually vote on the budget.
And that's something we can surely look into. We've done
Okay.
it in the past.
Okay, I
Well,
appreciate that.
We've had several budget meetings, maybe executive session style, where we're
Well, I think it'd
asking
be good
questions.
to get public
I know,
comment on
we just don't
some
have
of
one
it too.
meeting. We had
Yeah.
4 or 5 or 6 meetings about the budget.
There have been times where we've had a second budget meeting because there was a lot of things going on. So we can definitely take a look at that. And I'm sure that the mayor will check with John Szwajkowski tomorrow and make sure that that
great.
quarterly went out. So.
Okay, thank you. The only other thing I want to say is congratulations to all the 2018 graduates. Good luck in your future. You know, some of them are going on to college, some out in the working force, some in military service. You know, I wish you, you know, good luck, Godspeed, in whatever you choose to do.
Thank you. Mr. Tuknasian?
Thank you. I have 3 items, and just to touch on Mr. Sloan's point as far as the Q1 financials, I'd like to see them when they do come out. Second point is that there's been some questions as far as putting a left turn signal at Galloway and Humeville, and I know that's a relatively new intersection. And in the morning, it really backs up on Galloway, and I wasn't sure if there was a possibility we could look into putting a left turn arrow.
Galloway and Unionville, arrow?
The new road.
Yeah.
That would be a PennDOT road decision.
Yeah, but which way? Yeah, they'd have to prove it. Which way you talk about?
Making a left onto Humeville.
From,
Yeah.
in both directions, or just?
At least the
from-
one. I mean, I know it backs up pretty.
Yeah, they're tough on the arrow.
Coming from celebrations?
Correct.
Toward, okay.
Yep.
Left towards the high school.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
I think they've recently readjusted the timing at that light. The timing at that light for people in Galloway was god-awful. It took
Yeah.
forever for the light
It
to
was pretty
cycle,
bad.
and I think that's been shortened. But we'll take that to TPD.
Thanks. Third item is I wanted to note, and I kind of took some notes. A couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to do a ride-along with Sergeant Brady. Every day I go into work not really thinking about my own safety, being that I sit at a desk for the most part. I quickly realized that evening, after putting on a vest, that as a police officer, you're constantly reminded of the risks that you take each and every time that they go out, not knowing who you're going to pull over, encounter, or what situation you're going to end up dealing with. That evening, it was a great experience. We had a number of different situations come up that night, including a warrant, a domestic call, several traffic stops. It was obvious that our Bensalem police were well prepared and able to effectively handle the situations at hand, and in one instance, being able to provide medical attention. I was proud to see our officers treat everyone with respect, given the recent situations across the country as well. It was a great experience to really understand the challenges that they face each and every day. And although I recognize our budgetary issues, I was able to get a firsthand look at what our officers may need in the coming months and or years. Just a couple things that I had noticed as far as body cameras, auto tag readers for more of our vehicles, and more importantly, some of our officers actually spend their own money to reinforce their vests because apparently the standard vests do not protect you from knives. It's only from gunfire. So the point there is we have to just be really cognizant and the right tools in supporting our police department. So I really look forward to possibly another opportunity at some point in the near future. And I wanted to thank Director Herron, Lieutenant McVeigh, and Sergeant Brady for accommodating me. So thank you. And then a couple other points. Just wish lots of luck to the Bensalem baseball team, and congratulations to the 2018 graduates, as my daughter is actually one of them. So,
Congratulations.
thanks. Thank you.
Mr. Knowles?
Yeah, I would reiterate, congratulations to all the graduates and wish them luck in their future. And, congratulations to the Bensalem baseball team. It's the first time they actually won the district, and now they're playing for the semifinals of the state championship. And it's quite an accomplishment. And, I wish them luck against LaSalle tomorrow. Hopefully they can pull it off. I'd like to get some ID off them LaSalle guys. Actually, I saw the team, but hopefully Bensalem can prevail. We got some good arms, and we'll shut down their bats, no matter how big they are. And I also would just like to take a moment to wish everybody a happy Father's Day. I think fathers are still important in our society, and whether it's your own child or you're acting on behalf of somebody else, it's important to have a male role model in your life. And for all the fathers that are out there and doing the right thing by their kids, happy Father's Day.
Thank you, Mr. Knowles. Mr. Kisselback?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm just going to repeat what everyone said, ditto to that. Bensalem, the Ramblers, I know quite a few of those young gentlemen too, and And they're pretty big boys, actually. And they have some good arms, and they really had, Harry Dalt is the coach. I know him from the Bensalem Ramblers days, and he puts those young men in a very competitive atmosphere. So he's a good guy, too, and they have a really good staff. It's been a while for Bensalem, almost like the old Philly days, where it finally got around to us. We got the Phillies. Now they're having their little problems, but they have a winning streak of one game. See what happens tonight. Happy Father's Day to everyone. If you are a father, and if you would like to become a father, happy Father's Day to you also. And the amphitheater is open, so on Wednesday nights they have a great activity to see some, what do they call them, Joe? Wannabe type bands, is that what you call them? At any rate, it's really great entertainment, and Amanda does a wonderful job with that. Tribute bands, and it's tribute to everyone. And I have to agree with Ed as far as our police department is the best in Pennsylvania, if not the US of A. So God bless all the boys and girls, the men and women of our department. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kisselbeck, and I'll just, everybody said what needs to be said, so our next meeting will be 6:25. Adjournment would be in order. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Adjournment. Adjourn.